This content is based on facts for educational purposes. We do not intend to defame any company. Logos are omitted for copyright.
You know, if you've ever used a Google product, you get that feeling, right? That little voice in the back of your head that's just screaming, hey, don't get too comfortable with this. And you know what? You are absolutely right to feel that way.
Because this is the hard reality. Getting invested in anything Google makes is like adopting a pet that comes with a kill switch held by some bored executive. So yeah, welcome to the Google graveyard.
And look, this isn't just a feeling, it's not paranoia. It's a hard, cold number. Over half, 51.5% of all the products Google has ever launched have been killed, sent to an early grave. More than 1 out of every 2. Just let that sink in for a second.
All right, so let's go dig up some of the bodies, shall we? It is time to perform a few autopsies on some of the most spectacular, high-profile failures in the history of tech.
Okay, let's start with Exhibit A, Google Stadia. This was Google's grand, multi-billion-dollar attempt to completely revolutionize gaming. Instead, it became a masterclass in how to set a giant pile of money on fire with absolutely zero planning.
This user on Hacker News just completely nailed the heart of the problem. They went and built this incredibly complex, amazing piece of technology without ever once stopping to ask the most basic question imaginable. Who is this actually for?
I mean, the cause of death was obvious from day one. Their business model was just a complete insult. You had to pay full price for a game and pay a monthly subscription on top of that. They had no clue who their audience was, so they managed to annoy both hardcore gamers and casual players at the same time. And developer support, one developer said Google offered them almost nothing to bring their games over. This wasn't bad luck. It was just a string of obviously terrible decisions.
And next up, we have Google's third failed attempt at social media, Google+. It was a digital ghost town, so empty you could practically see the tumbleweeds rolling past abandoned accounts. This number right here, this tells you everything you need to know. 90%. 90% of all user visits to Google+ lasted less than 5 seconds. It wasn't a social network. It was basically a digital waiting room that people accidentally clicked on and then immediately tried to escape.
So, how did it die? Well, first they shoved it down everyone's throat. If you wanted a Gmail account, congratulations, you also got a Google+ account you never asked for. Then came the data breaches. First, a breach hitting 500,000 users that they conveniently hid for 6 months. Then another one hit over 52 million. They didn't just kill it, they buried it under a mountain of their own incompetence.
And come on, who could ever forget the infamous Google Glass? You know, the future of computing that just made you look like you'd escaped from a really bad sci-fi movie.
Glass was a total failure because it was a solution desperately searching for a problem. It was bulky, it was ugly, and guess what? Nobody wanted a camera strapped to their face 24/7. Google was just so obsessed with whether they could build it that they never stopped to ask if they should. It was destined to become a punchline from the very beginning.
But look, these aren't just isolated mistakes. Stadia, Google+, Glass, those are just the big, flashy names. Don't forget Google Reader, Wave, Hangouts, the dozen other messaging apps they've killed. They're all just symptoms of a much, much deeper disease. This isn't a bug in their system. This is a core feature of their corporate DNA.
And here it is. This is the internal recipe for disaster. See, inside Google, you get promoted for launching something new and shiny, not for the boring work of maintaining and improving something that already exists. On top of that, the finance department gives every project a 2-year deadline to make money before they just pull the plug. And this is all built on this toxic belief that you can just launch any old crap and fix it later. So what you have is a system that is literally designed to ship half-baked ideas and then just abandon them.
So what does all this mean for you? Well, it means that every single time Google launches some revolutionary new tool, they're not asking you to be a customer. Nope, they're asking you to be an unpaid beta tester for their next failed experiment.
So I have to ask, why would you ever trust them? Why would you build your business, organize your family photos, or manage your entire life on a platform that can, and probably will, disappear on a whim?
This is the end result, just endless, pointless churn. You are constantly being forced to move from one doomed app to the next. Remember Google Music? Now it's YouTube Music. Who knows what it's going to be next year? It's just a constant, frustrating cycle of disruption for no good reason at all.
So I'm just going to leave you with one final, very simple warning.
Make no mistake about this. Google doesn't build products anymore.
They build experiments,
public, half-baked experiments that use your data and your time as the raw materials.
Look, they've made it perfectly clear where their priorities are, and it's not you, and it's not the services that you depend on. The message couldn't be simpler. You're the lab rat, stop falling for it.